Hey guys, it's Carissa and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 in the Reread, Rewrite, or Burn books I read in 2020. So I will be doing this game with the books that I've read in the last half of 2020. I managed to read a total of 54 books for the whole year, so I was able to break this up into 2 parts perfectly even. 27 on the first round and 27 on this round. The way the game goes is I will pick 3 books out of my little bowl. I've got all the names of the books I read on these little papers folded. Can't see what they are. I will pick 3 books and then I will say out of those 3 which ones I would prefer to reread, which one I would like to rewrite, and which one I would like to burn. There's no skipping. There is no saving a book for a different one. The 3 books I pick are the 3 I have to decide, reread, rewrite, or burn out of those 3 specifically. So anyway, let's get to it. Let's see, the first 3. First book is White Sand, which is a graphic novel written by Brandon Sanderson. The second is New Moon, which is the second book in the Twilight Saga by Stephenie Meyer. And the third book is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, I think. Yes? Yes. Okay. All right, so we have Peter Pan, White Sand, and New Moon. And honestly, Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author by far right now. I really enjoy all of his works. I enjoy the intricate magical systems he makes, the worlds he describes. There's so much detail in his books. And I hated this graphic novel. I don't feel like his work adapts to graphic novels at all, actually. One, they're not my favorite medium to begin with, but he just has so much detail and so much thought process that it's hard to put that into a graphic novel, I think. And so, honestly, that's really easy. I would burn White Sand. Ugh. All right, and then between Peter Pan and New Moon from Twilight, if I'm being realistic here, I will reread New Moon because that is a series that I've reread every other year for like the last 10 years or however long they've been out. But Peter Pan is such a good book as well. I read it for the first time last year, and I feel like I want to reread it just to get more out of it. And I honestly think that Peter Pan is way better written than New Moon. So I will reread Peter Pan, and I will rewrite New Moon. Not that I can actually write anything, but I would re-edit it so things are a little bit different. All right, round 2. Let's see, the first book is Better Than Before, written by Gretchen Rubin. And this is a self-help guide to decluttering / making better habits. Let's see, book 2 is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charles Mackesy, I think. And book 3 that I pulled out is And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer. Okay, this is going to be really hard because And Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, these are both on my top lists, or my top best books of the year. I love these books so much. They hold such a deep place in my heart. So I guess I'm going to have to burn Better Than Before, written by Gretchen Rubin. It wasn't a bad book. I actually enjoyed it more than a couple of her other ones, but I mean, it's just a self-help guide to decluttering or organizing or habit making. I'm not even sure. I don't fully remember it. It can go. But between these 2 and Every Morning the Way Home Gets Longer and Longer and The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, I honestly have no clue. I don't want to rewrite any of them. I love them so much. This one, Every Morning, is such an intense, emotional book, and I don't think there is anything I could change in this book that could make it better or hit harder or do anything. If you want to be sad, read this book. It is such... it's an emotional journey. Yeah, this was written by Frederick Bachman, and it's beautiful and amazing and wonderful. The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, written by Charles Mackesy. It's a kid's book that is just so uplifting and wholesome, and I love the artwork so much. I did not expect this to be hard at all. I'm going to reread The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. This book is just more rereadable to begin with, and I just love it so much. And every morning the way home gets longer and longer. This book is just so emotional and so hard to get through that I would hate, well, I wouldn't hate. It's done so well. It would just be hard to reread it again because of how emotional it is. So I guess I will rewrite this one, although I have no idea how. All right, next round. Let's go. The Last Witch by Andrew Sapkowski, which is the Witcher book of short stories that happens before the main series. I don't know. I've only read this one so far. The second book I picked is Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson, which was supposed to be a short story, but it's really like an actual book because he writes so much. And the third book is Words of Radiance, Stormlight Archives. All right. Whew. This is really easy. I am going to reread Words of Radiance. This is my favorite Stormlight Archive book. It's book 2, and I love it, so I will reread that one. Dawn Shard and The Last Wish. I'm going to burn Dawn Shard and rewrite The Last Wish. Again, I don't know how I would change it, but I would figure something out just so that I could reread Words of Radiance. All right, next round. The first book we have is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The second book is, Oathbringer, Stormlight Archives number 3. If you can't tell, I reread that whole series, or up. I guess there's only 3 out before last year. I reread them last year. The third book is Rhythm of War, Stormlight Archives number 4. Okay, I am going to reread Rhythm of War because it's the newest book in the series, and I just feel that there's so much I missed. There's so many Cosmere connections intertwined with his other books that I definitely need to reread that to get more out of it. I will rewrite Oathbringer. This was my least favorite out of the 4 he's written so far. I just felt like there was a bunch of stuff in there that didn't need to be written. So honestly, I would just edit out a few hundred pages of this 1,200 page book. And then I will burn Caraval, however you say it. I will burn this one. I honestly it was fine. It was an okay read, but I just don't care about it. The next round, we have Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. We have Down a Dark Hall, which is a middle grade horror by Lewis Duncan. And we have Frankly in Love by David Yoon. All right. These ones, honestly, I didn't enjoy any of these 3 that much. So it's going to be hard to tell which one I want to just reread. Let's see. I think I'm going to burn Down a Dark Hall. I know it's middle grade, and I know I'm definitely not in the age range for the people who are supposed to be reading it, but there were just so many things in this book that let me down, or that had really big plot holes, or that just didn't fully make sense, and honestly it wasn't scary at all, and I don't feel like it would be scary for an 8-year-old anyway, or 8 to 12, or whatever that age range is supposed to be. It's all a little blurry. So I'm going to burn Down a Dark Hall. I am going to... Honestly, I would reread Clockwork Angel, even though that trilogy wasn't necessarily my favorite. It's still one that I think I could just get like guilty pleasure enjoyment out of, just like reading it straight through where I'm just reading for pleasure kind of thing, just watching a TV show. I could do that with Clockwork Angel, so I will reread this one. And I will rewrite Frankly in Love. I just didn't connect to it very much, and I think there were certain parts I would cut out and maybe change a few things in it, and I think it could be a little bit better. All right, for the next round, let's see, we have The Way of Kings, Stormlight Archives number 1 by Brandon Sanderson. We have Neighbors Like That, written by Karina Taylor, and it's a romance. Let's see, and then we have Midnight Sun, written by Stephanie Meyer, which is the companion story to Twilight. All right, this is going to be easy. I am going to burn Midnight Sun. I don't think we needed Edward's perspective. It just gets creepier and creepier, and while my teenage heart still fully enjoyed it and loved it, we didn't need it. It can go. I have the regular Twilight, which is still not the greatest, but I enjoy it. I'm not going to hide that. And then I will rewrite Neighbors Like That. I felt like the characters in this had zero depth, so if I could write, I would change this so the characters had a little bit more depth, and yeah, I would just rewrite this one, and I will reread Way of Kings, which I'm probably going to have to do anyway, because there's supposed to be 10 books in the series, and we've only got 4 so far, so I'm sure I'm going to be rereading this about every 3 years when a new book comes out. All right, just a few more rounds to go, and let's see what we get. The first book is Breaking Dawn by Stephanie Meyer, the last book in Twilight Saga. Twilight, the first book, and Clockwork Princess. Okay, I think I am gonna 100% reread Twilight. Like I said before, my teenage heart loves it. I know it has problems, but I will reread it again, so I'm just going to reread that one. I'll probably rewrite Clockwork Princess. Like I said before, I didn't hate this trilogy, but I didn't love it either, and I feel like there's just some things that could be tweaked to where I would enjoy it more, so I will rewrite Clockwork Princess. And I'm going to burn Breaking Dawn because honestly, I hated this book. It was the biggest out of all 4 of them, and I feel like half the book shouldn't have even existed. I had many problems with this last book. So we're going to go ahead, just burn that, pretend it never happened. All right, we just have 2 more rounds to go. Let's see what we end up with. I think we've gotten most of the series out of the way, so that's good. Oh, Eclipse from Twilight. All right, I was wrong. Second book is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and the third book is Boys in the Boat, and I just forgot who wrote this, but this is a nonfiction book about the 1930-something Olympics rowing team from Washington State who competed in the Berlin Olympics. I think out of these ones, I will reread Eclipse. I know, I'm basic, but it's gonna happen. Am I? No. Out of these 3, I think I would definitely rewrite The Boys in the Boat. This is a nonfiction. I can't judge the events of what happened, but I didn't like the way it was written. At the very beginning, the author even stated that when he went to interview the main character in this book, the guy said that he doesn't want the story to be about him. He wants it to be about all the boys in the boat. And the story was really about him and his life. And so I think that's kind of sad. There was a lot of other people that were on that rowing team that I think deserved to also be in the spotlight. So I would rewrite that just to include more people. Between Ninth House and Eclipse, I honestly would reread both of them. Eclipse just because, it's Twilight. I'm very basic. It's fine. I've come to terms with it. But Ninth House, I think, was a really good book. It was a different atmosphere, a different genre than I usually read, and I really enjoyed that, and that was really refreshing. So I think I will reread Ninth House and burn Eclipse, even though this is the favorite of the Twilight series. Yeah, I don't think Ninth House deserves to be burned, so Eclipse, just because in general the Twilight series isn't that great, and compared with other books, it has to go. Bye. All right, now we're down to the last 3 books, and here we go. We have This is Troublemaker by Leah Remini. It is her biography her autobiography all about Scientology. It was really fascinating. If you're into that kind of stuff, I recommend it. The next book is This Is How You Lose the Time War, and I know there are 2 authors for this, and I don't remember both of their names. The third and final book is, Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. Alright, now I'm gonna burn Clockwork Prince. Out of all of these, it was the one I least enjoyed, and just kind of a book that I read to read to see what the hype was about, and I honestly I'm not going to continue on the series, so it can go. Now this is hard. I don't know, there is no way I could rewrite This Is How You Lose the Time War. The way it was written was the reason I loved this book so much. It is a sci-fi, fantastical romance between 2, I can't fully describe the book, but the writing is flowery, and I don't normally like that kind of book, but I absolutely loved it in this for some reason, and I don't fully know why, but there's no way I can rewrite it. So I will reread this one, and I will rewrite Troublemaker to include just a few more things. I really enjoyed it. I don't think there's much that I would necessarily change, but I feel like there's more in her life story that I would be interested in hearing. So I would rewrite it doing that. Alright guys, that's the end of the game. Thank you so much for watching this. I will see you all next time. Bye!